Reality check. 36, unemployed, and I moved in with my mom and dad. After being independent for almost 10 years and having my own space, ahora vivir con mis papás, it's a boost to my ego. Am I allowed to cuss here? I really don't care. It sucks. And I'm forever grateful, and I have to remember to count my blessings. This is just a phase in my life. Y estoy súper agradecida con Dios que me dio unos papás tan amorosos that I'm actually able to stay at my parents' home without paying rent. But it's just a phase. I'm going to get through it. And anyone going through a hard phase right now, trust God, trust God's timing. You're going to get through this. I promise. We all are.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So we're going to be checking out some videos about a lot of adults who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on and so forth, actually moving back to their parents' house. They are moving back to live with family because of the condition of living these days. The economy is terrible. So you have many people who are losing their jobs. Many people are getting laid off and have nowhere to go. So the only place that they have left and their option is living with their family, and some of them are just going to share their experiences and why they're actually in that situation and what they're going through. Some actually have complaints about how it's going to affect your mental health, like in so many ways, to actually have to move back, especially when you've experienced like having independence, living on your own, and then having to start from scratch and going back home. So we're going to be checking out those videos, but before we do, please make sure you click the like button. It helps with the algorithm and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
Other than getting rejected from a job, do you know what else also stressed me out? It's the fact how I'm 24 years old and I can't support myself. And I've been feeling so guilty about it because I'm living at home and everything. Like, what triggered me to have that breakdown the other day was how we went to Trader Joe's with my dad and he was paying for our groceries. I just realized, I was like, damn, I'm 24 years old and I'm still living at home. I'm still relying on my parents to get me grocery. It just sucks because nothing is going the way that I thought it would go. I thought I would graduate high school, go to college, graduate, and find a good job. Well, I don't expect me to like get paid like a shit ton, but it's at least get paid some money that I can pay for my own stuff. But I can't even do any of that, and I just feel so shitty. I'm so thankful that I have parents that are very forgiving and understanding. They're really good with like, oh, like take your time finding a job so you can find something that you actually like and stuff like that. And they're actually very supportive of me taking my time. But it's not even them pressuring me. I think I'm pressuring myself because I feel like I need to be responsible for myself. And the fact how nothing is going in my plan and everything is going out of control, it just stresses me out because I'm doing my job by applying to jobs, graduating, I'm fixing up my resume, I'm looking for jobs to apply to. It's the fact how my resume is not even getting looked at, or I don't qualify for a lot of the jobs. Yeah. Sorry. Just a little quick rant.
We're going to see a massive increase in multi-family homes where kids are moving back home or older parents are moving in with their kids. It's going to be rampant over the next 3.5 years with the way this economy is going to get destroyed, the way the housing market is going to get destroyed, the way that medical bills are going to cripple people in financial bankruptcy, the way student loans and education is going to be unobtainable to pay for people. I mean, it's already been happening over the last several years. It's going to rapidly increase. And my wife and I are fully prepared for that to happen to our kids as they are going out and trying to even find work. Any kind of work in this country is nearly impossible for young people because most of these places are hiring older people who also need to work now because they can't retire. They can't live on their Social Security. They can't live on their pensions. And they would much prefer to hire an old person who they believe will be more, stable or predictable or whatever. It's a fucking nightmare. We are supposed to live and die and work and be productive. And that's it. That's all the power structures in this country want. If you don't know how to work and produce for them, at the cost of your livelihood and survival, then you aren't worth anything to them. You deserve nothing. You should get nothing. You should just fucking die. And if you aren't happy with getting whatever it is that they minimally can pay you without it being illegal, they're going to do. And if you don't accept it, then you should also just fucking die. That is the entirety of the right wing. I don't even know if you can call them Republicans anymore, because they're not really any traditional Republican. They're Trumpists. Do what I want, take what I'll give you, or fucking die.
I'm 26 years old, I'm unemployed, and I live at home with my parents. That's not true. I'm 27. When I moved off to college, I thought I was done with living under my parents' roof for the rest of my life. I thought when you flew the nest, you flew the nest for good. I remember my aunt telling me, just you wait. And since graduating, I have moved home twice. Once during the pandemic and once recently when I got deported from the UK. Life throws crazy curveballs and you never know what's gonna hit you. And it's hard sometimes to come on this app and see 18-year-olds making hundreds of thousands of dollars and seeming to know what they're gonna do for the rest of their life. When, for most of us, that is just not the case at all. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing 5 years from now, let alone next week, let alone what I'm having for dinner tonight. But I like to play this game, where I think of my life as a movie. And if I was watching all of the events unfold on the big screen that led me to move home, I would be sitting there eating my fucking popcorn, having the best time watching things unfold. All this to say, comparison is really fucking easy, and it's hard sometimes to feel like you're behind. But everyone's on their own timeline, and you can't compare James Bond with Elle Woods. Where did those movie references come from? I don't know. You get my point.
This is just a quick PSA. If you used to live at home with your parents and you managed to escape and you moved out, and now you're looking at the economy, you're trying to save up for something, and you're like, let me move back home. Don't. I moved back home about like 2 months ago, and I'm fighting for my mental health every day. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, move back home if it works for you, but just know that it's gonna be probably 10 times harder because you've been on your own and you've experienced freedom, and now you have to go back to whatever it was that you may have been dealing with. Or maybe you're lucky and you have like a grand experience at home with your family. But if you dealt with some things, just know that you're gonna have to tighten up. Okay, you're gonna have to tighten up and just prepare, but definitely do it if you can. Not to discourage anybody, because like I am saving a shit ton of money. I'm just losing my hair for it. So it's like, who needs hair? I don't know.
I'm 35 years old, and me and my husband are moving back in with my parents. And I want to fucking talk about it. Me and my husband have been in survival mode for 3 or more years. It's basically been one of us has a great steady job and the other one somehow manages to lose their job. And right now it's my turn. And this is the longest I've gone in our relationship without steady income. And it is massively impacting us. The economy is just getting worse. You cannot survive on one income. I have hit what I would consider a paper ceiling, which basically means no one wants to hire me entry level, because they want someone moldable who's never worked in these industries, right? So I have my property and casualty license. I have my Series 7. I had my Series 63. And I have 15 years of experience in these industries. They don't want me, but I also can't move up. I can't move up to a better position because I don't have any of the credentials. I have management experience, but I don't have a degree. So I am going back to school for at least the next 2 years. And for the next 2 years, we are going to combine resources with my parents to make it work. And we have to swallow our pride, and we have to get this help, because otherwise we are not going to have anything. Let me tell you this. I know how fucking privileged I am to be able to say that I'm doing this and that I'm making this decision. And I will tell you this as well. If we didn't have my parents, we would have no one and nothing. Like, we would have nowhere to go. We would probably be on the streets with the amount of help that me and, like, my mom has given us. Now, on the flip side, My dad is retired. He's now on a fixed income. You don't really realize how impactful that is. Like, you hear fixed income your whole life until one of your parents is on one. Now, my parents don't need the help, but they could definitely use the help. At this point, we are getting gouged by our electric company. Like, our electric has been turned off 3 times since December, even though we've paid them within the past 5 months $1,700. Our electric getting turned off last week is what spurred this. Because how could 2 households be paying $3,000 over the course of 6 months for infrastructure that's already there? Please don't be ashamed if you have this option. I think that it would be wise for a lot of people to take it. And there are a lot of cultures that have generational homes. And our culture, white people, have forced us all to believe that we need to get out on our own, have all our own shit, and basically live completely separate from one another. And it's not realistic anymore. It doesn't make sense anymore. Why the would we keep 2 households running on money that we barely even have? I just think that at this point, nothing's going to get better at this stage. So if you have anyone that you can combine resources with, do it. Because I'm in a generation that me and my husband on our own will never be able to buy a house. And I know that. And some of that might be self-inflicted. And some of that is just the world. Everything is predatory towards the people who need help the most. Late fees and everything go to the people who don't have money. You don't pay your phone bill, they charge you a $70 late fee. If I had the money, don't you think I would have paid it?
Maybe moving back in with your parents is the new flex. And let me explain. Like, what if we stop for a second and just stop burning ourselves out on paying rent and paying all these useless bills on places that we don't even own? You know, you save money, you heal, you reset. You finally get to slow down. You finally get to move with intention and save some money. God willing, you got a good relationship with your parents. And I get it. Everybody's so quick to say, oh, you live at home, you live at home. But honestly, I think that is changing. I think that is quickly changing because people are realizing that this economy is not set up for you to live alone and for you to be single in this country. And honestly, I think it's smarter than struggling. I think it's smarter to save home, stay home and make money and save money than saying, oh, well, at least I got my own place. Yeah, you got your own place, but you broke. Shit's changed. And I think we might have to bring back multi-generational housing. Because honestly, we Americans, we're the only one who live like this. We're the only one who clown each other for still living with our folks. It's honestly really stupid because if you can save a lot of money, you can combine your resources, you can get whatever you want. This consumerism, capitalistic society that America has brainwashed into our mind that you have to have your own everything is not normal and it's not necessary. So I don't know, maybe we need to spark some conversations on multi-generational housing again. What y'all think?
I'm 28 years old and I had to move back home with my parents a few months ago because I lost my job due to the Trump administration 6 months ago. I tried to stick it out in DC for a few months and just couldn't make it work. Obviously was applying to jobs all the time. Now I'm home and I'm not ashamed of that at all. And I'm so grateful that my parents are willing to let me come back to be in a place like this. Like, oh my God, it's such a better situation than so many people who've been impacted by this administration, both in the US and abroad. I have so much gratitude, which a lot of the time actually only deepens the sadness because I think it's like a juxtaposition of gratitude and like gratitude against like what it could be and what it is for so many other people, which of course is sad. Yeah, it's a rough time to be looking for a job. It's a rough time to be paying for student loans for a master's in an industry that there's no real point to this other than to just say that
This economy is really taking family gotta stick together too seriously because honestly, this ain't no time for people to be like, oh, I want to be independent. Because, like, the economy is really actively pushing a lot of people into the situation where, yeah, we get it. People are used to their independence, living on their own. and then now like you're forced to just go there and start living with your family again because you do not have money to, pay for your rent by yourself, and figure out life and every other thing that you need to pay for, like the bills in general. Being forced into back into this type of lifestyle where you have to live with your family, it's very humbling, very humbling. It can bruise your ego. You feel like you've been climbing up this ladder and then boom, like you're back to the ground. It's very, very humbling, and it's so sad. It's actually forcing people to stick together with your family, support each other. Like some are still working, some still have a job, some haven't been laid off, but the pay is just not enough to cope with this high prices that are out there. So it's actually making a lot of people just want to stick with their family, support each other, because two heads are better than one. You can't tell me it feels the same way when you have to pay bills by yourself and when you have to share it with someone else. Different responsibilities actually kind of takes away a lot of weight from you having to carry everything by yourself. Definitely not easy, very enjoyable. I mean, like being able to handle your stuff by yourself, live on your own, very, very nice. But sometimes you just need people and you need their assistance. And I know like family or like going back home to the home where you grew up in can be very overbearing because of how sometimes you have parents that maybe you guys didn't get along well. You since as a teenager you couldn't wait to just get away from them, and then now you're forced to just go back and relive that lifestyle. It's sad, but in this economy, we got to do what we got to do to survive and get through this, because it's really, really tough on everyone.
I just wanted to get on here because I feel like we're in this era, this period where a lot of like 20-something-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds, maybe some 40-year-olds have had to move back home. Now, for me, I'm in transition. I'm moving. I moved out of one major city and I'm back home at my mom's house for a few months before I move to another city. Like everything's in motion for me. But I do know that there are some people that have had to move back home to get back on their feet. And I feel like there's not enough of it spoken about because there's somewhat of like an embarrassment, I guess you could say, for moving back home. One, I think it's a blessing if you have parents, A, that are still around, B, that allow you or open their doors to you coming home, because I know that not everybody has that. So let's start there. Like, be grateful for that. But I also just think like there's sometimes like you feel ashamed. Like I know for me, even right now in this transitional phase, knowing it's temporary and all that, I do feel like a little embarrassed to say at 37, I moved back home. Mind you, I've lived on my own for the past like 10 plus years. But besides that, I think that we don't really make it like a normal conversation in society of like, oh, just move back home, like maybe after college, a lot of people move back home before they start their first job out of college. But when we're older and more independent and have careers and all that and having to go back home, it's just not talked about. So I'm putting it out there. Please do not be embarrassed if you have to go home because of whatever circumstances that might be. You lost your job, you are figuring life out, you got a divorce, you had a child, like whatever the situation is, please can we just start making it normal to go back home and not embarrassing or to feel ashamed and to feel like you are not where you should be. Like, I don't know how to explain it any further, but as someone that's going through it, I can relate and understand what people that are going through who are back home. It's an adjustment for sure. But again, like I say, it's all a blessing if you even have the opportunity to do that. And also I was thinking about this too. It is a blessing because our parents are getting older, and me being home with my mom, like I would never have had this phase with her again. And it makes me emotional because she is getting older and I know the time that I have with her is limited. And so to be able to go back home, even if it's just for a few months, I'll probably never live with her again. Right. So I don't know. It's a blessing. I'm so grateful, honestly. Like at first I was like, damn it, I have to move back home because the timing of everything, but I'm hanging out with my mom. I'm doing the things that, doing things together. And if I had already moved to my future place, we wouldn't have been able to. So let's just stop like feeling like it's an embarrassment to move back home and actually enjoy it and look at it as a positive, that enjoy and embrace the time that you have with your parents. And if you do get the chance to move back home, that's a great opportunity, So I wanted to share that because I feel like I've been seeing on TikTok a lot of people saying they have to move home. And I just think it's important that we start to make it okay to move back home at our big age.
I'm 51 years old. I sold my house right before the bank could foreclose on it. I packed up all of my things and I put everything in storage. And I moved from Dallas back to my hometown, Little Rock, Arkansas, temporarily. Now I'm living in my mom's crowded house with my 17-year-old son and our dog, Rain. My mom is happy about this, of course, because she gets to have a different meal every night that I cook for her. And I'm cleaning her house, and not to mention I'm organizing it as well. And this may have been the worst decision I've ever made, honestly. And every day, not a day goes by that I don't ask God, why am I here? And I don't just mean here in this crowded house with my sister, her daughter, my other 2 nieces, and a great niece. But I mean here in this situation, I feel like my finances were struck by lightning. I had dreams, and all of my dreams feel like they've been deferred, detoured, dreams flipped upside down all around, trying to hold it all together for me and my son. And the only answer I keep getting is, this is what you asked for. But this ain't what I asked for. I know back in when my house was getting foreclosed, I asked for a new house. I asked for a bigger house, a house big enough for my boys, big enough for my great niece. Well, my other son is not, he's in medical school, but when he comes home, big enough. I asked to travel around the world. I asked to be on stages and share this secret tour that God laid on my heart to write back in January, this ebook. I'm ready to go home now. This is scary as fuck to me. But somehow I'm back here. I'm back here in a city that I left 32 years ago. And let me ask you a question. Have you ever prayed for something so boldly and then ended up on a path that looks nothing like your vision? Just like me, and everybody keeps saying maybe, just maybe, this detour is your path. So while I'm here, this is what I've decided to do, is become a full-time content creator and sell my ebook and give myself 2 months to raise $250,000 for my business. Go back to Dallas with my son and my great niece.
I just want to say, y'all, I'm 28 years old. I work full-time, not no minimum wage job. I have a full-on career going, and rent will eat up more than half of my monthly income. So I stay at home with my family, but this is like the most depressing shit I've ever been through in my entire life. Like, it was okay staying with your family when you needed them because, like, you were going to school or you were just trying to build your career and whatnot. But once you're settled in your career and you feel like you have enough money because, you know, not even 2-3 years ago, the money that you're making now was plenty of money to afford an apartment, to afford your groceries, to afford, you know, your car insurance and all that shit. But now that same amount of money is like nothing, and you haven't got no raises. You can't leave to go to a different job because no job is hiring, even though they're all hiring. And it's like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, I'm afraid to go out and have a good weekend, because have a good night on the town, like go out to a couple bars and shit, because I know they're going to charge a whole bunch of money. And how the fuck am I going to be able to pay my damn rent? How the fuck am I going to be able to pay for my damn electricity bill? How am I going to be able to help provide in this household? Because I am required to provide to stay here. So how am I going to do that if I'm going out on the weekends and everything is so expensive? So I don't go out. And I know people be like, oh, well, oh, going out, like, you don't have to go out to a club or a bar to have fun, blah, 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 blah. But what if that's what I want to do? What if that's what brings me fucking joy? You know, like, it's so easy to police, like, well, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. And it's like, well, what if that's what I want to do? You know, it's not what I want to do. Like, I don't mind just going into nature, but I'm just saying, like, I have friends and stuff. They don't like going into nature. I want to hang out with my friends. They want to go to the club and the bar, but I got to be like, well, bitch, I got to pay my fucking rent. You can take your ass in, and then they go to the club and the bar. And next thing you know, next week they talk about, oh, I can't pay my rent. It's like, well, shit, you know, like, damn, like, you know, or you go to the store, you just buy a couple groceries for yourself. I shop for myself. I don't shop for the other people in my household, but I shop for myself. And fucking, I didn't even get enough groceries for a week. It's almost $150 fucking dollars. And it's like, well, damn, you know? And then the car, don't get me started on car insurance because I'm 28 and I'm a male. They make me pay an exorbitant amount. And I'm not getting no cheap ass car insurance because you get what you pay for. I'm not getting the top of the line, but I'm also not getting the cheapest of the cheap either. My car is under 6 years old. I want my shit protected. I need my car. Like, this is California, Southern California. Car culture is like, you have to have a car to get around. If you don't, it's going to be very hard for you. I'm not sacrificing that shit. That is how I make my money. You know, so like, I'm not going to have no cheap ass insurance. So I'm paying almost $200 a month for this motherfucking insurance, you know, and not to mention I had to go into debt before because of car issues, you know, that I was unprepared for coming into the adult world. So, you know, you got credit cards and stuff like that, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's no programs to help no single people to overcome this. The government is basically like, figure it out on your own, bitch. And it's like, well, fuck me. Fuck me. All right. If I would have known, bitch, I wouldn't have been born. Shit. Even if I would have known, I wouldn't have been born. Damn it. Shit. Abort my ass now. Not literally, but like, yeah. Because I didn't ask for this shit. I didn't sign up for this shit. And why are these politicians and all these people making this shit harder for us and none of us signed up to be here for this shit in the first place? Including them. Like, y'all bitches want to make all these rules and shit and I can't afford nothing. And y'all making life harder for me. Bitch, I didn't ask to be here and neither did you. So why the fuck you making it harder for all of us? Like, what the fuck is
coming on here to vent, and I don't really care what anybody thinks about me after this because this is just real life shit. So I got laid off 3 months ago, May, right? And since then, I have been trying to apply for jobs. I don't think our parents understand how bad the job market is nowadays. Like, I don't know why our parents just think that we're not doing shit at all. Like, we're just laying around having a good old time at peace because we don't have a fucking job. So mind you, I've been applying for jobs left and right. I finally found a job that I do start September 8th, right? And I'm not blaming my mother, but it's just like, I'm struggling, okay? I'm struggling to pay bills. I'm struggling to pay my car note. I'm struggling to pay my insurance, phone bill. Everything that I have to myself, I have to pay for because I don't ask anybody to pay for it. I'm a very independent person. If I'm struggling, I will struggle in silence. Nobody will ever know until I say something like this. So I'm not going to put her business out there because I love her. That's my mother. She didn't do anything wrong. But she has asked me for a certain amount of money that I don't have and I can't give to her only because I'm in a predicament where I don't have a job right now. So I've been Ubering every single day or as much as I can to make ends meet. And now that I've put so much wear and tear on my car, I'm starting to have problems with my car and I'm just like really scared. At the end of the fucking day, I don't have the money to I don't have the money to give to that lady at that moment. And it's frustrating her because she needs it for the rent, which I understand. I am a 25-year-old woman still living with my mother, and she needs help with the rent. Mind you, when I had a job, I was giving her money every month to put towards the rent, right? It's not like I was just sitting on my ass, using my money for myself, not paying for shit, not helping around the house, not buying toiletries, cleaning products, make sure the house is clean, dishes washed. Like, that's not the type of person that I am. I'm gonna help because I still live under her roof, so I respect that. But it's just like sometimes I don't really think people understand how humbling it is when you don't have a job or when you don't have consistent money coming in. Like, it's literally the worst feeling in the world. And I know I'm not the only person in the world that's going through this. That's why I try not to crash out, because everything happens for a reason, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, not having the money that you need for your everyday expenses is insane. Like, it's really an eye-opener, and people really judge you for not having a job. People look at you different. People try to downplay who you are as a person just because you don't have a job at that very moment in your lifetime. And I just want everybody to know, everybody who's unemployed, everybody who is seeking a job and applying to jobs, I just want y'all to know that y'all are not alone. I want y'all to know that y'all are not the only ones that are stressing out every single day, even stressing out in your sleep about having money in your pocket when you need it, having money in your pocket when you need to pay for something, when you want to buy something, when you need something health wise. Like, I just want y'all to know y'all not alone, and you guys will find a job one day. Don't give up. Don't let anybody stress you out. Don't stress out about shit, because it is only a matter of time before all that shit ends. You're gonna get a job. You're gonna get approved. You're gonna get accepted. Like, don't stress out. You're not the only one.
In a lot of people's culture, it's actually totally normal for adults, older adults, to actually still be at home and not leave home until maybe they start creating their own family. And some can even have like multi-generational home, like big, large house. Due to how the economy is, I feel like all this like encouraging of younger people, younger adults to like quickly get out of home, leave their family so quickly and gonna start living on their own independently and paying all those high bills. I feel like maybe people should like, take a step back. This will kind of cause a lot of delays with the age people actually tend to like leave home quickly. Maybe at the age of 18, they're ready to leave home. 19, they already have their whole apartment. So you start seeing a lot of people stay home longer and longer and longer, possibly till they can build up their careers and do something. You can see how some people had their life together for years, and within a blink of an eye, back to square one, back to zero. You have to start from scratch and build back up. By the end of the day, I'm just hoping that everything actually gets better, like the economy actually gets better and improved, because it's been really, really, really bad. It seems to just drastically keep being worse than ever before, but we're still hopeful at the end of the day. You've made it to the end of this video. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. Please make sure you click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time. Hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video, and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to see what you think about this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.